My 24 female boyfriend, 24 male wants me to lie and say it was me driving my car, when actually it was him who had a single car accident. If it's proven it's him, he will probably lose his car insurance. I want to help him, but don't know what to do. So earlier this morning, we were coming back from a party in my car, and my boyfriend was speeding and absolutely plowed into cars parked on the street in front of a donut shop. My car is totaled, and the other two cars probably are as well. The cops showed up in record time, and while we were separated, he told them it was me who was driving. The donut shop apparently had video and caught whole thing, and they told him that the video seemed to show him driving, but it wasn't clear, so they would take his word for it. The cops then wrote me 3 tickets for speeding, losing control of a vehicle, and reckless driving. I was so in shock that I didn't even know what to say, and I just signed the tickets. We got an Uber home and got in a huge fight, and I was just exasperated that he would do this to me. He reminded me that if he took credit for the accident, he would lose his job, and his car insurance would be unaffordable, so he couldn't get to work anyways. I said, well, my car is gone and my rates are going to skyrocket. He promised he would help me buy a new car and also help with my increased insurance rates. The accident was about 6 hours ago now, and I still haven't called my insurance company to report the accident. Of course, the other 2 people who had cars totaled probably have called. Thus, my insurance probably already thinks I caused the accident and are looking to destroy my rates going forward. I'm so angry. I have no idea what to even do. I don't want my boyfriend to lose his job, but I don't want to be screwed because he was driving like an a-hole. I would love any advice. Now for some comments. No, do not go along with this at all. I'm an insurance adjuster, so here's the consequences for you, assuming this is the US. Your car, your insurance is primary for the damages, injuries, etc., even if he was driving. By lying about who was driving, you are committing insurance fraud. This is a crime that ranges from a misdemeanor to a felony. They will prosecute you and your boyfriend. When you are found to be committing insurance fraud, they will drop you and you will have a hard time getting insurance because your name will go into a national database for fraudulent claims. Forget high rates. Worry about being insurable whatsoever. By lying to your insurance company and getting caught for fraud, they can deny your entire claim. All of it. Do you want to pay for your car and 2 other cars? Lying to the police can cause you and him to get charged with false reporting to the police. Your boyfriend did this, so it's his consequences to deal with. And they are going to be so bad for you if you go along. Especially if there's video, even vague. Clear this up immediately. With the cops, with your insurance company, get a copy of that video. And ditch the lying loser boyfriend. Comment 2. Also explain to your boyfriend that there may be video evidence of him driving, which would entirely invalidate you as the driver. Explain the risks of fraud and that although you would like to help him, you can't take the risk of lying about driving. The consequences are too severe, and again, he was the one driving. It sounds like he may have had these kinds of car accidents before, and he should have been more careful. Maybe this is a good wake-up call for him to drive more carefully. Comment 3. Signing the tickets means only that you have officially received the tickets. You and the officer both agree that he gave you the ticket and you have been notified of its contents. It's like being served. Review the ticket, which will summarize the charges. In the court hearing, you will have a chance to plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest, which is pretty much the same as guilty, effectively speaking. If I were you, lose the boyfriend. He is willing to throw you under the bus rather than take responsibility for his screw-ups. If he is at risk for losing his license, he must have several other moving violations. He is a menace who shouldn't be on the road. Hire a lawyer and work how to get put from under all of this. Don't even consider going along with insurance fraud, especially given that there's a video showing him driving. Sue him for damages to your car if neither your nor his insurance covers it. Never loan your car to a crappy driver again. I know that some guys insist on driving and get kind of pushy about it. Tough. Unless you're drunk or exhausted, stand your ground. OP replied, "Thank you. This is very helpful. I will call a lawyer when I'm at work tomorrow. I can't even imagine what I'm going to do be able to dump him. But I will seriously try." Comment 4. Try? Are you worried about being strong enough to dump him? Or are you worried that he'll get mad and do something scary? Edit. If you need a specific action plan, 1. Grab you essentials, IDs, checkbook, passport, a few days' change of clothes. 2. Get an Uber to a friend's house or motel if necessary. 3. Send him a text saying that you are now broken up and that he is not to contact you except through your lawyer, who will get in touch with him. 4. Block his calls and put your phone on silent. Turn it off if necessary. 5. Tomorrow, get a new phone number. Have a friend review the voicemails in case he makes a threat. Also, forward his emails to a particular folder. 6. Tomorrow morning, call 2 or 3 lawyers. Most offer free consults. Use credit cards, payment plans, contact your parents. I'm guessing they may want to help you get untangled from him. Hopefully, phrases like, "Mom, Dad, you were right, I'm sorry," will help. OP replied, "I'm a little worried about that, but mostly Jay have nowhere to go. My parents hate him so much they more or less cut contact with me when I moved in with him." Comment 5. And turns out they were right. He's awful for putting the blame on you. But they're still your parents, so call them and tell them you're done with him. Edit and update. Sorry, this is so long. So basically, at the advice of this thread, I stopped posting and called my mom and dad, who I really hadn't spoken to since I moved in with my boyfriend, and said I was leaving him. I was scared and begged to be picked up. This was about 1:30 a.m. They said they would be over right away. I had locked myself in the bathroom, and my boyfriend must have heard me making the call because he started trying to beat the door down, and I was terrified. When the door didn't go down easy, I could hear him smashing things out in the living room of the apartment and kitchen. I stayed on the phone with my mom while my dad called 911 on his phone. I stayed locked in the bathroom, and he occasionally would try to break the door down and again. All this time I was crying and so freaking scared, and he was screaming and calling me every name in the book. We have neighbors with kids, and I heard the kids wake up and start crying, and then I'm pretty sure I heard one of the dads beating on our front door telling boyfriend to shut up. Cops showed up just before my parents and immediately put him in handcuffs and put him on the couch, and started taking statements from me and the neighbors. I came out of the bathroom and he looked like a raging, chained-up psychopath. Everything, and I mean everything in our apartment is destroyed. Walls, plates, pictures, TV, Xbox, ironing board, chairs. My clothes were thrown over the balcony. My makeup was smashed against the wall, and stuffed animals I was given as a baby were ripped apart. I have no idea how long it was, but it was crazy he did so much damage in such a short period of time. My dad and my mom showed up, and my mom started bawling because she hadn't seen me in so long, and my dad looked like he wanted to kill my boyfriend. But with the police there, he composed himself really well. We had to stay during the time the police took everyone's statement. It was clear he was going to be arrested for a ton of stuff. I started telling them what caused all this and the story from earlier in the morning. So the officer asked me to get the tickets, and it turns out the officer who wrote the tickets this morning is the guy from the night incident's direct supervisor. So they are going to talk today, and if need be, maybe go back to the donut place and look at the footage. Then the worst thing of all happened. My mom was standing sort of by the door as they were taking boyfriend out in handcuffs. My mom gave him a really nasty look, and he said something like, "If she goes home with you, you'll just have another who blows her brains out." My older brother committed suicide when he was 17, and I was 10. My mom has never gotten over it, neither have I really. And my mom reached out and slapped him as hard as she possibly could. So then the police had no choice but to arrest her as well. They were nice about it and loosely handcuffed her and took her to one of the squad cars. So I got dressed and tried to pack up and salvage whatever I could, while my dad went down to bail out my mom. One of the 3 policemen stayed in the parking lot in his car just in case any of my boyfriend's boys showed up while I got what I could. My mom was in and out pretty quickly and is facing a misdemeanor battery charge, which will probably go nowhere. But as you can imagine, while my parents were very happy to get me, they were extremely pissed at what had transpired not only yesterday but the last 6 months or so. I have a very long road ahead to repair the relationship with them. My dad has been mostly silent, but he did take me to the family attorney so he could start working on the stuff from the accident. He said it shouldn't be too hard to get me out of the tickets, and women, especially, take the fall for husbands' or boyfriends' accidents way more often than you would think. I will probably still have to show up for court, but by that time, the investigation to show my boyfriend was the one really driving should be concluded, and I will be dismissed. However, the thing that really sucks is that my state is a permissive use state, meaning that my insurance has to cover anyone who is driving my car. There is a good chance that my insurance company will fight it out with his company for overall liability, and it won't be as bad, but I'm still going to take a massive hit on car insurance premiums for a long time. Another good thing is the lease to the apartment is totally in his name, so I won't be responsible for any damages there. Plus, I didn't do anything to put holes in walls. And I can just walk away from that. This whole thing sucks so much because even after all that happened and as crazy as he was, I know I still have feelings for him that I need to get in serious therapy right away to start dealing with. I can't have someone so destructive in my life who is willing to let me take the fall for all his crap and then scared the life out of me and threatened me. Am I the a-hole for drinking wine at a party? I, 24 male, have a pretty rocky relationship with my cousin, Sarah, 35 female, and her sister, Mary, 29 female. Every time I see them at a family gathering, I get stuck watching their 4 kids. Recently, I was invited to Mary's birthday. I wasn't going to go, but my girlfriend convinced me to go because I haven't seen my extended family since the last family barbecue in 2022. As soon as we got to the party, Mary immediately told me the kids missed me so much and I should go play with them. I politely refused and made my way out to the backyard where everybody was. Mary followed behind me and she kept trying to convince me to go up to the kids' room. I refused every time and she eventually dropped it and returned to her sister. I sat down and my aunt, Beth, made a snarky comment about how I was so mean to the kids. I brushed it off and grabbed a glass of wine and some food at the bar. As I sat down to eat, I took a big gulp of wine. Mary spotted me and freaked out, yelling at me for being irresponsible, immature, and petty. Then she told me to get out immediately. Sarah and Beth glared at me and whispered to each other while I grabbed my stuff and left. At home, I was bombarded with texts from my aunt and cousins, calling me vindictive, cruel, and some other racial slurs I don't wish to repeat here. I ended up blocking them. Later found out I was only invited to the party to be the babysitter, while everyone else enjoyed the party, and me drinking wine ruined her plan. Most of my extended family is saying I should have just sucked it up and watched the kids so Mary could enjoy her party. So, am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. Comment 1. Not the a-hole. Every time I see them at a family gathering, I get stuck watching their 4 kids. That isn't okay. It's also dishonest for them to ostensibly invite you to social gatherings when all they want to do is use you. I took a big gulp of wine. Mary spotted me and freaked out, yelling at me for being irresponsible, immature, and petty. Then she told me to get out immediately. That's projection. She needs to grow up and get a babysitter. Most of my extended family is saying I should have just sucked it up and watched the kids so Mary could enjoy her party. So why couldn't one of them have done that? Reiterating, you're totally not the a-hole here. They have no right to treat you in such an atrocious manner. Comment 2. Not the a-hole. It's a party, not a babysitting gig. You were invited as a guest, not a free childcare service. Enjoying a glass of wine at a birthday party is perfectly normal, and it's completely unfair for them to expect you to look after the kids without even asking you properly. Seems like they only wanted to make sure their babysitter was in attendance. It's okay to set boundaries, even if it means sipping some Merlot instead of playing peekaboo. OP added, most of my family is white, but my mom is black and my skin tone is closer to her than my dad's. Last comment, and that's why you are expected to watch the kids. Your extended family is racist and doesn't view you as family, just the help. Not the a-hole, but your extended family sure as hell are.